Hello and welcome to the last recap that I'm going to do. First things first, I've just finished playing my game against Alethea. It was a 1-1 draw, so I am now locked into first place. So yeah, good for me, eh? Who would have thought that the Nurgle team does well in the Eternal Format League? Well, I did, that's why I picked them, but you know what I'm trying to say. But the rest of the games are yet to play, and before that we need to look at last week's games. So Alethea, prior to the 1-1 draw, did really damage Noobster here in a 6-point swing, 2-1 grind. So it pretty much punched Noobster out of the contention for what is it again? Challengers Cup. And kind of just, even though they lost, they took some damage to do it, but they did find a nice little 2-1, which is always nice to see. Just the slow tick up to legend, 4 more SPP on the runner, who is now just closing in on that legend rank, after which I'm told Alethea will bid the team a fond farewell and take a break from Blood Bowl for a while, which is fair enough. Because it takes a long time, even with an elf, to get a legend, so that's fair play. But yeah, 4 Kaz on the white with Mighty Blow, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. But sadly no SPP on the Wolves, which would be the real kicker for Noobster here, and none on the Flash Golems either. A darn shame for them, but they'll go again, I'm sure. Now Mr. Agorki took a 2-1 win over Supra to put themselves back in with half a chance of the Stunty Cup ticket. I'm pretty sure, I tell you what, it's a good sign because I had Supra in my Discord DMs complaining about dice because of this game, which is a good sign that the halflings really put on a show. Where's Supra? Here we are. They just don't fail a single roll. And as normal, Supra rolled snakes at the critical moments, and I imagine that's a good summary for this game, at least from Supra's point of view. Zara MVP. Interesting take Zara against Vamps, I guess just to pierce the blodgers. I don't hate it, actually, because there's no tackle on this team, not by a long way, so sometimes a stab is almost the best chance you got at piercing a vampire, I guess. And hey, it worked. 2 touchdowns for a halfling each, nice and keeping the team value low. We've got a couple of Kaz on the tree. The block 1 levels, I hope they take a guard at some point, but I suspect it'll be another multiple block. What else? Nothing here really for the Vamps. Smattering of SVP, 5 on the up and coming Vamp, which I suppose is always a good sign. The Thralls took a beating though. Zara must have done a number on them, and in between Zara and the trees and the Vamps, probably just ran out of players, and Mr. Agorki took a 2-1 win against Vamps with halflings, which is absolutely incredible, one of the results of the season. Meanwhile, in a more predictable affair, the Ratus Miserables hoist themselves into Challengers Cup contention, despite all the doubters. I mean, at this point I'm the only real doubter, but I'm still doubting. And Ratus took Morg Glart into this Chaos game, which is cool. I like it. I kind of just like seeing Morg on the pitch, even if he's not the best use of inducement value for Skaven, but he still obviously was enough to secure the win. A touchdown apiece for the Gutters, so they're slowly ticking up. Big Hand Guy is almost level 4, fancy what they take. We get a level on the Blitzer, which is interesting. We'll see if they take a second guard or a Mighty Blow. The second guard is probably better than the first guard. Especially when you're reducing Glart and Morg, I guess I could understand the second guard, but we'll see what they pick. The Chaos Block Nightmares kind of struggling really. Couldn't put their hands on these. I mean, look, there's no tackle here. There's a strip ball, but I don't understand how these guys are supposed to hold the ball on their offense without just getting bullied and sacked. Hail Mary pass, not throwing any passes, but you never know. Maybe one day soon, hopefully one day soon. I want to see the Hail Mary do something cool. I took an admin win. I didn't get any levels off of it, sadly. Even though I fired a load of rotters to increase the odds of leveling someone, I didn't level someone, which is quite sad. Hoglass lost to Makisali and put themselves out of challenges. And they took an armor bust on a mummy. That's a real dagger to end the season. the Orcs, proving that anyone can beat anyone in this division, and they clearly came out and took this one away. And MNG on the Black Orc blocker, he sadly finishes the season 1 SPP shy of block. A crying shame. A whole season, 13 games for less than 13 SPP is a real kick for Ogori's Warriors. Hopefully they can just score a Vanity Pass, turn 8 of game 1 and just, get the team back to a level. But apart from that, not much SPP kicking around either way. There is a Blitzer level, we will check that later. I'm sure we will. Let me first put that out in a tab, and then we take a look at a 2-2 at the foot of the table. Hopefully, I was looking for a few more touchdowns here between the two teams. But yeah, this is a real dagger here. Dagger? Just a really nasty injury. A movement burst on the one. Well, the second best blitzer on the human team takes a movement burst, and honestly, if I was a human coach at this point, I would reroll, but I'm always rerolling. Nice 4 passes thrown on the thrower, which is nice. And we got to catch a level up as well, so there's still there's still silver linings through the clouds, but that human team is in a really bad shape at the moment. It'll take a lot for them to get back to competence, sadly. And finally we have a 1-1 draw. This was the big game that I streamed. It's petered out into a 1-1 draw after all of that, all the hype. Where did I... It's in here somewhere, I just moved it. There we go. That really sorted me out here. Potosi had a good first half and secured the 1-0 at the half, and then was able to sit back. Potosi really pressured. They tried hard for the 2-1. They scored early, but it did get close, and Octochicken almost found a 2-1 win. But Potosi was able to just keep that in check, and even though it cost him a guard piece, it did keep his hopes of playoffs, well, postseason Blood Bowl alive, and really put the nail in the coffin of Potosi's chances at playoffs, sadly. But a good game, well played by both coaches, and a couple of levels, we'll check those out. And yeah, and finally this week, one game that has been played, I finished up just now against Alethea. That's not been picked up yet, but it was a 1-1 draw, so I'm now on 28 points and safe in top spot. So now I'll check some levels here. Alethea's team we can check out, just see how they end the season. And it ends like this for them. So a pretty chill team, lots of tackle, lots of blodge. The Rookie Witch Elf did not do a lot, sadly. She sort of just ran in at the start of the second half, and then I instantly KO'd her with a Rotter. Just a random Rotter 2-dive block, found a POW, and then found a KO. First time of asking, so not a good game for Althea Reyes, unfortunately for her. But the rest of the team bearing up well, which is good to see, as they finally make this push. The last 15 SPP for Eveos is within reach. Who else was in this game? Wolves need no armour. They might have picked up a ghoul, so we'll just quickly have a browse of this team. I don't think they will have though, no. So this team stays as is, even. They're still just ticking along, fishing for SPP. Cool. I think I skipped a fixture. No? This Dragorki does get a tree level, we'll see what this is, if they've taken it. I would take probably guard, but I'm not a halfling coach. They do take more multiple block. I guess that helps when you have block already, but oh, they don't have loner. I don't know. I feel like as a halfling, I'm using my I'm gonna have loads of rerolls. Yeah, I don't hate it. I guess gets you some value, but most players aren't going to base you with more than one piece, so I don't really get the. It's good in the bash matchup, I suppose. It is a cool take. But yeah. But even when he played me, I think he used multi-block maybe once and it wasn't super impactful. Like if you're taking Morg in 2 trees, like they're not going to want to base you in more than one place. And if they can base you in more than one place, you're probably getting knocked over. But I guess with block again, block mitigates that and gives you turns where you might be able to get some value. Well, so what I'm saying is that they either stack up with like 8th strength and you can't fight with multi-block, or they give you nothing, or they give you one piece. Like they rarely give you 2 or 3 pieces. Like the only time that's useful is on the LOS to get momentum. And I can kind of see it, but you've got, when you're inducing Morg, you're getting a Mighty Blow hit anyway. I suppose it does generate more hits, so you're more likely to get a knockdown. Okay, I'm starting to talk myself into it. I can get it. Let's go for this Thrall level, see if they took it. It was Brains and Brawn. They take Wrestle. More Wrestle Thralls, nice. For this team, a couple of Thrall MGs might be a bit dangerous for their next game if they're not too careful. You know, they could find themselves outmanned and murdered, potentially. Who knows? Well, we'll see what this Blitzer took. I'm hoping for Mighty Blow, but I expect to be Guard. They do take Mighty Blow, nice, I like this. So these guys are now both fishing for Claw. And this is my usual logic. When I always go double Mighty Blow first, because if the Guard guy rolls Claw, you know, it's a wasted level in the Guard, because you want that to be Mighty Blow. And you're kind of just fishing for Claw on both these guys until one of them finds it. And then you've got a dedicated killer, and the other one could be whatever. But yeah, that's how I see it. Sadly, I think that's an M&G on the Strength 4 kick, so they will not be present for the last game. Probably a good thing for this team. More inducements to work with, and Buzzbats had a good time with the inducements. And honestly, they're 5-5-2, which is no mean feat. So congratulations on them for a very strong season, only losing 2 games. And hopefully, if they can beat the Halflings and Octachicken can't find a result, then they will be in challenges. So they'll be keeping up on that Octachicken game this week. Now we've got Hoglass versus hang on. Guess Black Nightmares did get a level. I would be rude if I didn't see that. It was Youngblood. They take Claw. More Claw is better. Claw, clearly. A lot of people take Mighty Blow first, but if they think they're going to be facing loads of high armor pieces, then I understand the Claw first. Cool pick. More kill for the Chaos. Usually a good thing for the Chaos. Let's see what they did with them. Oh, it's a Strength Busted Mummy. Oh. I thought it was an armor bust, but it's a Strength Bust, and they have had to fire them and instantly rehired. So a nasty one for that undead. Is this the beginning of the end? Is this the start of the spiral? I suppose we'll find out next season if they choose to keep the team. Warriors got 2 levels here, 2 Blitzer levels as well, so a very good day out for them. We'll check what those are. Looks like one of them is Tackle. More Tackle is always good. And Rocks did not take their level, so that could be something interesting. Maybe a extra double. I wouldn't hate a diving tackle if they found another double. Like, this team works for a team that don't have much access to diving tackle, and it's a very good counterplay in the Elf mirror, in the Elf matchup, I should say, or against Skaven, teams like that. But otherwise, I think they'll probably just take Guard, because as it stands, this team's quite good against the dash and the dodge, but only with 3 Guard on the team and just a Strength 5 naked, it kind of needs a bit more punch. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Guard pick up on Rocks. They might be thinking about movement. I don't think movement's worth it over Guard at that point in the development of the team. For me, at least. We did get a level on this catch. We'll see what they take. For the Outdoor Devils, a really rough season for them. They do get sprint on this catcher, I believe. Yeah, they take sprint. So Sure Feet, sorry. So that's even better. So this catch is pretty much done now, apart from sprint, and a real threat up and down the pitch. The Avant-Garde are chilling and winning. Do they get much money out of it? It doesn't say. Let's check the roster though, real quick. And this is the team as it stands. Still got those nice, actually 5 pieces ready to do some work. If they can just get this guy up to some sort of block or wrestle, that'd be excellent. Again, really, I think they really felt the lack of wrestle, and just not having a way to bring the ball down that's not a wizard is a real battle for an elf team. So that defensive problem will carry on until they find some wrestle, because they're up at 1680. They're not going to get wizards very often, and you really want a wrestle strip ball piece to come out. Or maybe they died. They probably died. Yeah, they're just going to get one off the ground. But it's still a good team. They have good pieces, so I suspect we'll see them come back next season. But who am I to say? I haven't spoken to either coach. Finally, the big game. So they did get a white level on the killer. We'll see what they take. I think it was Juggernaut. It was Jump Up. Nice. That's a really good find. Perfect time for the double. And now this is a really complete. This is the perfect killing piece. And so, an excellent weapon. The only problem is it does tend to sap SVP from your wolves, but the wolves are already doing quite well on their own, so you don't need them that much. The elves now have really taken a bit of a beating. 2 deaths. We'll see if they've rehired anything, but they had quite a healthy roster. Any games played? 0s. Yeah, they rehired 1, down to 90k, and I believe this keeps them. Yeah, this keeps them on 12 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 pieces. So it's just still a Wood Elf team with a bench that is going to be difficult. But the key thing is that this War Dancer got himself MNG'd. And so that's going to make it very difficult for them in their next game. They will probably get a wizard, but they will struggle. It's probably one of their best pieces, and it's out for a very important game that they need to win. So yeah, speaking of very important games that they need to win, let's take a look at these next fixtures. So we've got Bets versus Noobster. Noobster just looking to take a win here against the bottom of the table human team, and try and just at least put themselves in the picture. Oz Chicken versus Maki Sali again. This is probably a difficult matchup actually. They'll get a wizard, but there's a lot of tackle on the Orc team. I think it could be a real dagger matchup here, a really tough matchup. And Octo Chicken could find themselves falling out of playoffs and challenges contention. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, Potato gets an admin win. And then secondly, because Bloodsplasser is playing the Halfling team with Skaven. And not even just Skaven, really trim Skaven that's only 1360. So the Halflings are going to really struggle to get their usual set of rostered players. They have Mighty Blow just in time to punch armor 6. It could be a real recipe for disaster for the Halfling team. So I will have to predict the Skaven for that one. And depending on the scoreline, it could be a real blowout there. And it will put Bloodsplasser back in contention. Well, actually, I say that. There's a 10 touchdown diff slot here, so they'd have to win 10-0, which I don't think they can do. But as you can see, I don't know how, but I swear when I looked at this last time, the Skaven team were down a point. They're on 19, but I think the table's updated. They are actually on 20 points, and so it's a straight race almost between Octochicken and Bloodsplasser. If either of these guys wins, then anyone below them is knocked out of contention. Noobster and Alethea just need to win and hope everyone above them loses. But I think it's fair to expect that the Skaven beat the Halflings, which means that Octochicken will need to find exactly a win against Agori's Warriors, who, if you remember, quickly put a 2-2 draw on that human team and fought them off. Where were we? No, they put a win over Hoglass and killed a mummy. So they're a team on form with lots of tackle against these Wood Elves. It could be a really difficult game for Octochicken there. He's going to have to play really well, probably get a little bit lucky to secure a win. But it is what is needed. It is what is needed. And this is the point where Octochicken looks at those 4 losses taken over the course of the season. It really starts to hurt, because it gets to the end of the season, you have to put yourself in these high pressure games because of those losses in the bank. Whereas Bloodsplasser can just go out and play, knowing that regardless, that you're assuming you're probably always going to beat the Halflings, and there's nothing else you can do. They can just play for freedom and get some SPP, get some levels, whereas Octochicken's going to have feeling the pressure. For realsies, feeling the pressure. Predictions wise, I think it's going to be Noobster, I think it's going to be Maki Sar. I think it's going to be a draw, and Octochicken's going to feel the pain. I think Potato will take the bye week. I think Mikkolas will beat Pyro TJ. I think that Hoglass will beat Supra. I've drawn against Alethea, and I do think that Skaven will beat the Halflings. I'll quickly pan you to the stunty table, and I'll show you here that Mr. Agorki, if he wins, he will be on about 1.58. 1.58. So 1.58 points per game. That basically means that did Skyblue Monty win their game? Oh dear, hold up. Hold the phone. History. Matches. Where are they? Big O 16 training grounds. So if we go to Big O training grounds, have they played their fixture already? Well, they have, and they've won. Oh no, I think that's it. That's it for Mr. Agorki. That win for Skyblue Monty, I think, is done enough. Where are we looking? Yeah, they beat Skaven 1-0, and I think that makes them unassailable, which is a crying shame for Mr. Gorky. He put up a real fight in that stunty season, but sadly it's not quite enough for them, and my commiserations do go out. As someone who's played and won the Stunty Cup, it gets really tight towards the end, and it's difficult to compete against every single other Stunty team in the world playing in Rebel. It's very difficult, but a really good effort from them, and they could still they can't make it, sadly. They can't catch up to, if they win against Skaven 10-0 and everyone else loses, then maybe, but it's very unlikely. So commiserations to the Halflings with a really good effort. 5 wins on the season. They'll be hoping to make that 6. But yeah, that's all for me, and thanks for sticking with me over the course of the season. Hopefully you had a good time, and you appreciate had a good time. Yeah, it's been a very long season of recapping. I've had quite a long day, so a bit frazzled. I will put this on the upload, and hopefully I'll see you all. See you all on Sunday for the draw of the postseason brackets. I'll catch you all on Zord's Twitch and we'll have a chat. But until then, adios for the last time. Goodbye.